In this section, we are going to talk about loops in Python. So let's go ahead and understand what is the loop is all about. So let's imagine you have a set of codes. Let me just demonstrate so let's imagine you have a couple lines of codes, like code line number 1, line number 2, and you have a couple of them, and you just realize that these line of codes must be repeated a couple times. So basically, without loop, what is happening that imagine that you have 5 lines of codes and you want to repeat it twice. So let me see. So I want to repeat it 2 times. What does it mean? That I will just make these lines 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and one more time 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So total, I have 10 lines of codes, which is 5 and 5. They are same. But can you imagine that you want to repeat these lines of codes 10 times? So instead of typing them all of them, so since I have 5 lines in one loop and I want to print it 10 times, so that means I'll need to have like 50 lines of codes. So that is the beauty of the loop, that I can repeat a set of lines in a certain amount of time. And in Python, like in other languages, we have 2 types of loops. So in loops, we have a for loop that we are going to cover today, and also we have a while loop, which is also used in Python. So let's see what is the for loop is and how it looks like. I will just start with some basic of math just to clearly understand how the for loop is working. Let's imagine we have a function which is x plus 3, and instead of x I can plug any different number. So for example, if the x is equal to 0, I will put here is 0 plus 3, which is equal to 3. What if I have a x is equal to 1? So instead of that x, so I'm going to plug 1 instead of x. So it is going to be 1 plus 3, which is equal to 4. What if I have x is equal to negative 3? So instead of x, I will put a negative 3 plus 3, which is equal to 0. You see, so this x is being changed in a certain amount of time. So basically what we can do, the same scenario in the Python. So I will say that, hey, I have a list of numbers, which is 0, 1, 2, 0, 1, 3. Let me just put it on 10. See, so I have 4 different numbers, and I have my function which is x is equal to 3, as we did it a few seconds ago. And I will say that, hey, if x is equal to 0, that is 0, what the solution is going to be? If the x is equal to 1, which is from the list, what is the solution is going to be again? So if the x is equal to 3, so what is the solution is going to be? You see, so that x is getting the information, is getting the numbers from that list. You see, so I have a list of numbers, and my x, which is another variable, so that is the variable list, and that is the variable x, and that x is getting information from inside. So let's see how it looks like in the Python. So example, so for example, I have a list of A. By the way, do you see, if I put a list by itself, it's already was used by Python. Even the color is different. So if I want to assign any other list, so I need to use another name. So let me just call it as a capital A, and I will make a list as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So right now I have 5 integers in my list A. So right now I'm going to assign another variable. For this case, I will call it x. So that x, for each time, for each loop, it will be changing from the variables which is in the list. So for example, I will say for x in list A. Do you see that? That means that x is going to be changing all the time. That x is going to be changing all the time based on the information that we have in the list A. And here I will say, hey, for each time whenever we have a loop, can you just print x for me? And if I run it, so what is going to B is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So let's analyze what is going on. So you see guys, whenever we talk about loops, that means each time my x variable is going to be changed. Actually, the word loop is meaning that we have a circle, and for each circle we need to do something. So in our case, it says that, hey, for each loop, for each circle, just print x. Do not do anything else. So it's one of the simplest loops that we are going to use today. So right now, for the first loop, for the first try, my x is equal to 1. You see, so right now the x is equal to 1. So whenever the x is equal to 1, I'm asking the Python, hey, can you print the x for me? And since the x is equal to 1, it was printed 1. Okay, so the first loop is done. I'm going to the second loop. And the second loop, the x is not equal to 1 anymore. So right now the x is equal to 2 because it gets the information from here. You see, so the second loop is ready to execute. So right now I'm asking, hey, can you print the x again? So since the x is equal to 2, so it prints a 2 for me. And so on and so on. Whenever it comes to the last point, so x is equal to 5 right now. It's my last loop. So I'm asking to print the x again. It is printing. Since there is nothing to do, so there is nothing, any other information, there is no string, there is no integer, that means my loop is over and it stops over here. So let me just give another example. So for example, I will say names. Let me just give a couple names on it. I have a list of names and I will say, let me just get 4 different names. I think it's good enough. So the first one is Mike. The second one is, let me just put Oscar. Let me put a John here and let me just put, I don't know, like John. Okay. Oh, I already have John. Let me put Daniel. Okay. So right now I have a list of the names. Right now I will say that for I in names. Let's see what is going on now. You see, I have a list of names. The names is a variable, but I already assigned it here. So we have 4 different names which is assigned to the variable name. And I have another second variable saying, hey, I. You see, for each time, can you get all variables from here? So right now we have a string Mike. So for the first loop, the I is equal to Mike. For the second loop, the I is equal to Oscar. For another loop, the I is equal to John. So right now I will ask, hey, can you print all of them for me? I will say print I. You see? So if I run it, it is going to print all names for me. So I have it here. Let me just make something else in the print. I will say hello. Oops. Let me say hello. So let's see what is going on here. Each time it is going to print hello as a default. You see? So right now it looks like I will be having 4 loops. There is no 5th loop because I have a 4 information only. Each time it is going to print hello, hello, hello. And after hello, it is going to print I. But what is the I? I is going to get information from inside. So let me just run it and let's see what is going. Hello, Mike. Hello, Oscar. And hello, others. You see? So that means the second variable is getting information from the first variable. So the question is, do I need to use lists only? And the answer is no. We can use the tuples as well. So let me see. I have a colors, and inside the colors I have a tuples like that one. You see? So right now we use the brackets here, but we are using the parentheses. If you remember, whenever we use the tuples, we use the parentheses, and they are not irritable. I mean, we cannot add anything to the tuples, and we cannot remove. That's the only difference between tuples and the list. So in the list, I have a couple colors. Let me see. I have red, I have blue, and I have, let me just say purple. Okay, so right now I will say let me give another variable. For k in colors, I will say print my favorite color is, and what is the variable? The k is variable because the k is going to be changed from here. So right, okay. So my favorite color is red, my favorite color is blue, and my favorite color is purple. So each time it is going to print. And another question is there any way I will not use the variable? So let me just delete. Let's see what is going on now. It is going to print my favorite color is without any variables. So it was printed 3 times because I have only 3 variables in the tuple. And let me give one more example. So we use the list, we use the tuples. What if I have just a single string? So for example, I have text is equal to, let me just hello. So can I use a for loop just to go inside and get one information? And yes, of course. So for example, I will say for j in text. So let's analyze what is going on. So each time, so I will be having a couple loops right now. So let me just get my pen. So that means I will be having a couple loops. And the question is, how many loops I'm going to have since I have only one string over here. So right now, whenever we assign one string in the loop, that means this j is going to get the indexes. So it will get h first. After that, it will get E. After that, it will get L, and this L and O. So right now, it is going to have the loop with the 5 times. So it will be looped 5 times. And each time, the J is going to be assigned to the different strings. So it will get the J is equal to H, the J is equal to E, the J is equal to L, and so on and so on and so on. So let me just run it. Let's see what is going on. I will say, hey, I want to print the J and see what is going on. So it is going to print HELLO because each time the J is being assigned with the different indexes of the text. Okay, so I will say, let me just say the sign is, you see, the sign is H, the sign is E, and so on and so on.